does your work always seem boring, and you always feel that the characters in your works lack some soul? Have you had the same experience? I use 4 steps to solve the problem. Today, I want to share this secret with to make from struggling and you do not know how to start. By the end of the video, you will have a foolproof method that works every time. Hey everyone, I'm Summer. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that I'm obsessed with making the fun of the character design process accessible to everyone. A friend asked me that he spent several hours on a character, doing each step by step, but in the end, he got something dull, mediocre, and boring. He was completely lost and also developed a fear of designing characters. Then I told him this 4-step framework that could change everything. After trying and changing his mindset, he has become a professional game character designer. Are you also eager to learn more? So grab your stylus and let's get started. The first step is to tell a story. Telling a story is often overlooked by many people, especially new artists and beginners, who tend to skip this step and start designing. But these questions are the soul of a character. Often, your characters seem mediocre and uninteresting because there is no good background story to support them, and the visuals fail to convey sufficiently attractive content to the audience. This picture is a student's homework. This picture is a rather typical example. The picture seems to have a design, but the information it can convey to us is actually not much. Instead, it seems rather boring. This picture clearly shows that the story background design is insufficient. Who is this character? Where does she live in terms of region and civilization? What is her background? What is her occupation? What camp is she in? Justice and evil. What is her personality like? Approachable, picky, irritable, and quick, tempered. What are her habits and hobbies? What weapon did she use? Which organization does she belong to, and is there any logo? It is obvious that many questions in this picture cannot be answered because the story is not perfect. Therefore, there will be many contradictions in this picture. The character is wearing relatively light clothes inside and a thick coat with many woolen capes on the outside, which looks like the warm equipment needed for living in a cold region. So, where does she live? What was she going to do by raising her hand? There are no specific elements present. Her attire is somewhat like that of a white-collar worker, and also somewhat like that of an agile character. So, what is her occupation? Overall, it gives people a feeling of being incomprehensible. The first step to bringing this character back to life is to perfect her story. I designed a little story for this character according to my own ideas. Judging from the appearance, this character is rather modern and has a somewhat tough feel. She was once an orphan and raised by a business tycoon. She was trained to be a member of a killer organization. During a mission, she discovered the tycoon's secret and was thus released from the organization. She set up a new group by herself to fight against the tycoon who had once adopted it. She is beautiful and charming, but has a hot temper and is rather confident. She likes to use heavy weapons. She desires freedom and admires the qualities of crows as intelligent hermits. The group she formed takes crows as their faith. They wander in the night of the city, and no one can know the location of their base. With a clear background story in place, proceed to the second step. The second step is the silhouette. The importance of silhouettes to a character was mentioned in my previous video. The silhouette in this picture is too simple to identify more information about the character through it. We need to adjust the overall shape and layers of the clothing. At the same time, a weapon can be added to this character. I'll use a real-life weapon to create a silhouette. Then, during the adjustment process, we need to refine some of its structures to make the weapon design logic conform to the design of our character, mainly to make their graphic language consistent. After having the weapon design, the silhouette graphic will undergo significant changes. The overall shape needs to be balanced. You can use light, thin, and soft elements for the design. To make the silhouette more dynamic, a small trick is to add wind to the environment. Elements, such as hair, scarves, ribbons, and capes, will be blown by the wind, causing them to float and deform. This can bring about great changes to our graphic. I keep facing the cape. Replace the length and style with other forms. Some hanging feather-like decorations were added to the cape, which not only changed the outline but also highlighted the character's story. The black hanging elements symbolize feathers and wings. The layers of the cape were slightly designed. The clothes were designed with many ribbons. You could try to design the entire shape of the cape to resemble wings. Only by adding as many layers of clothing as possible can the picture have more content. The legs are partially exposed and the legs as a whole are relatively slender. It can create a contrast in size and graphics with the broad upper body graphics, and also move the audience's perception towards the upper body of the character, because the slender legs will become thick line elements in the silhouette. The relationship between points, lines, and surfaces should be adjusted at any time during the drawing process. Make the weapon design a bit more exaggerated, because the upper body graphic of our entire character is still quite large. The weapon is slightly wider. Silhouette graphics will be more balanced. Even when drawing with colors, one should always consider the overall shape and not be disturbed by colors and numerous details. What we need to do is to create dynamic silhouettes. Compare the two silhouettes. In terms of the tension of the silhouette, the revised shape will have more variations in points, lines, and surfaces. When our line of sight sees similar elements, it will group them into one category and connect them together. This is also a process of visual supplementation by the line of sight. The original graphic appears to only have large blocks and no further structural changes. The shape we have refined now has a tendency towards a triangle. At the same time, the shape formed by the weapon and the lower body form a triangular shape. There will be multiple graphic layers on the entire design. Even if we further subdivide this shape, there are more interwoven small triangles. From the perspective of the overall trend of the silhouette of the shape, there will be interwoven different shapes. The new silhouette features variations in lines of different thicknesses and the combination of straight and curved lines, which gives the silhouette more rhythmic variations. The relationship between points, lines, and surfaces is more complete. There are also small areas of lines in the large blocks. Some of the originally designed point-like elements are added, such as the top of the head being a point, the shoulders being a point, and the entire area of the waist being a relatively dense design point. The weapon part will also have some relatively dense dot-like elements. In this way, we can distinguish the relationship between points, lines, and surfaces in the picture. Only when the relationship between points, lines, and surfaces is perfected in the picture will this picture have a better visual effect. Only in this way can viewers obtain more information from this picture and develop a stronger interest in it. After we make such adjustments, we can draw people's attention to the upper part of the character from the detailed differences in the silhouette's shape. This is the overall logic for me to adjust the silhouette. The third step is color matching. Color is the most direct perception for us to judge a character, and it can also convey different emotions. Color is also a means to enhance the background story. Our characters are an integrated whole, and from silhouettes to colors, they all aim to express the story of the characters. The color emotion of the original picture is not particularly clear. There is no distinction between primary and secondary colors, and the areas of dark and light colors are approximately the same. We cannot determine the faction of the characters through colors. When this picture is converted to black and white, the problem can be identified. The darker and lighter areas in the picture are basically divided equally. Is this character just, or rather evil? No matter what kind of emotion he wants to convey, it cannot be well expressed. The color selection needs to combine the characters with the background story. Because of the background story design, this character has a plot of worshipping crows. So during the process of drawing this picture, when I was drawing the silhouette, I deliberately changed the colors in the picture. It is mainly the relationship between the lightness and saturation of colors. The color tone in the original image is mainly purple. Whether it is the white parts or the areas that are slightly gray, they are all dominated by purple tones. The purple tone gives people a rather mysterious feeling, but it also incorporates a lot of white and some bright colors, so this doesn't give people a particularly clear impression. During the adjustment process, I weakened the purple color and reduced its saturation to a very low level. At the same time, the dimming of lightness is also to create a stronger contrast in lightness between darker colors and lighter ones. Because this character has a plot of liking crows and also has a somewhat rebellious background, I chose dark colors as the main color. I made part of the character's waistband made of leather, which not only enhances the details of the picture, but also increases the area of the dark color. I made the lower part of the dress made of leather. Following the same logic, the legs originally had a larger area of exposed skin, so there would be more light colors. I added some small elements to reduce the area of light colors in the picture. I increased the saturation of the red color. Increasing the saturation can create a more intense contrast in saturation between this red color and white, black, and gray. This is a rather typical case of 0-degree contrast. The achromatic colors of black, white, and gray are used in combination with small areas of high saturation chromatic colors for color matching, creating a strong contrast in saturation in the picture. Even though the picture seems to have relatively few colors, the visual impact it conveys to people is still quite strong. When drawing the weapons and their equipment, some small blocks of different colors were added. These are all to add more color variations within the large area color blocks, which can also make the picture produce a more intense color rhythm change. Step 4 is the details. After the disruptive changes in the first 3 steps, the character has taken on a completely new look. However, the final step, the details, is also the secret to making the character more attractive. The details directly determine how much information our character can convey. The more information there is, the more memorable it will be for the audience. Based on the color sketch, it is also necessary to sort out the structure of each part, especially the parts with interlaced deformation. I first adjusted the face. I designed a unique crow logo for this character. By using a simple graphic and the cut form of the character's clothing, I decorated the logo on the character's clothing and weapons. This way, the unique information of the character, such as the faction and the gang, can be reflected. The elements of the waistband and leather material are designed in detail based on the collected reference pictures. The more and more detailed the reference pictures you find, the more details you can draw. So, if you want the pictures to convey more information, be a picture collector hunter. To make the character more relatable and realistic, and to resonate more strongly with the audience, I added band-aids to the character's skin to show the effect of her injury in battle. This can establish more connections with the character's profession, and also make the character more credible. All the content that appears on the character we designed is telling the story of this character's past. Don't forget the facial makeup either. Makeup and hairstyle can reflect the character's personality and preferences. From the makeup, the audience can quickly identify the character's features. I have added a lot of details to this picture. In the small image state, the areas with more details are relatively dense, while the parts with fewer details are loose. Through the distribution area and size of the details, the viewer's line of sight can make a visual leap from this picture. The face is the key part to be depicted. Other parts need to be designed and arranged according to different scenes. The areas with higher density will have a higher excitement point, which can make every part of the picture have a fresh and exciting look. In areas with low density, the excitement points decrease, and the density and sparseness are alternately distributed. In this way, when seeing this picture, the eyes will not get tired, and there will be a willingness to keep watching, because every place will bring us more surprises. I added cross-shaped patterns to the clothing at the very beginning of the sketching stage. During the refinement process, this design was also retained. I kept this graphic on the neck, chest, legs, weapons, earrings, and the pattern here. These areas are connected from top to bottom through patterns, which is often overlooked by beginners. The correspondence between elements. When dealing with details, try to keep as many elements unified and related as possible so that the design can be unified. Pay attention to the selection of patterns, which should also be consistent with the overall graphic perception. Always stay vigilant. When you are designing a complete character, do not view her as a whole or in parts. They are always a whole. Let's review these 4 steps. Storytelling, the foundation of character design. Without a complete story, it is impossible for the audience to experience a complete character. Silhouettes, the tension of silhouettes can make your characters more vibrant. Each shape has its meaning. Color matching, use colors to establish an emotional connection with your characters and the audience, making your characters deeply rooted in people's hearts. Details, exquisite details can make the audience constantly want to zoom in on the canvas to look further, focusing their energy on the important parts. If this helped you level up your character design, hit that like button and subscribe for more professional techniques. Now, here's your challenge. Choose one of your characters and apply all 4 steps to make him amazing. Share your achievements in the comments section. Your homework challenge starts now.